Hi. If one of your hot plates are taking longer than usual to heat up, it could be the hot plate itself that's at fault. So in this video I'll be showing you how to access, test and change a hot plate on a Whirlpool AKM 335 hob. The tools I'll be using on this project are a flat bladed screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a 10mm spanner and a 10mm socket attachment, although you could use just a spanner, a thin flat bladed screwdriver, a pair of snipe nose pliers, 2 wallpaper scrapers or similar, and a multimeter. Before working on any electrical appliance, especially cookers or hobs such as this one, first switch the power off, or if you're not sure, then remove the mains fuse. Hobs can be attached to work surfaces by a number of different methods, and this one uses 4 spring clips which incorporate 2 little barbs on each clip. When the hob is fitted, the barb section of the clips are forced out against the inside edge of the worktop and hold it in place. However, the most common method are 4 brackets which are screwed to the underside of the hob and bridge the gap between it and the worktop. To remove this hob from the worktop, you'll need a couple of flat surface tools. I'm using wallpaper scrapers, but anything with a smooth flat surface will do, such as a spatula for instance. When the scrapers have been eased up between the hob and the worktop, that side of the hob can then be pushed up and the whole unit lifted free from the recess. This one has come free very easily, but in a lot of cases the hob will take some freeing from the foam sill between it and the worktop, in which case you may have to lever the two apart from the top, or in other cases a sealant may have been used to hold the hob in place, which will also incur levering the two apart. But as long as there are no brackets or clips underneath the hob, there is nothing else fixing to the worktop. To work on these units, the base cover needs to be removed, but the first thing to come off is the mains cable. There are 4 10mm nuts holding the base cover onto the hob, and when they've been removed you can lever the plate free from the hob unit. It hooks into the framework of the hob, but once you've freed one corner you'll be able to ease it off. Start at the opposite side to the mains connection block, because that edge has 2 locating lugs which the base cover hook into. You can leave the junction box attached to the base cover. Just fold it back and out of the way, because it's not necessary to remove it for this project, unless of course you're restricted for space. Before you remove any wires from the hob, first take photos of any and all connections you may be working on, because although in this instance all the hot plates are wired up the same, it's good practice whenever working on any multi-connection devices to take pictures as backup for when it comes to reconnecting. And never pull on the wire, but grip the spade terminal and pull that. To test the hot plate, first select the 200 ohms scale on the meter and place one probe on the first terminal, then systematically go through all the remaining terminals with the other probe, noting if there's a reading on the meter or not. Next, start from the second terminal and repeat the process until each pair of terminals have been tested. When this has been done, complete the testing by starting with the third terminal. If the hot plate is OK, you'll get a reading between terminals 1 and 3, terminals 2, 3 and 4, and terminals 3 and 2. But if there is no reading between one or more of the listed terminals, then the hot plate is faulty. These hot plates are held in place by a crossbar and locked down with a central 10mm nut on each unit. When the nuts have been undone and the crossbar taken off, you can also remove the thin plate which covers the element. Try not to disturb the other element as you lift the hob slightly and remove the faulty hot plate from underneath it. Make sure the new hot plate is the same wattage as the old one, or you could have trouble with your fuse box if it's a higher rating. This could make the overall wattage of your hob exceed that of the mains fuse, thereby tripping or blowing the fuse when all the hot plates are on maximum settings at the same time. The main thing to watch out for when fitting a new hot plate is that it lines up with the holes in the crossbar, or at least make sure the connection block on it is facing the right direction, or you could find the wires aren't long enough. You would be advised at this point to check the photos of the wiring connections you made earlier before starting to reconnect the hot plate. Although, as I said at the start of this video, all the hot plates on this model are wired up the same. But if this video is used as a basic guide for other hob tops, the wiring could vary. Before you replace the base cover, just make sure the wires on and around the junction box are at the side of it rather than under it, because this will prevent the cover from seating properly. There are two lugs on the inside edge of the hob that hold the cover down, and it must be slotted under these lugs for it to fit properly. The edges of the cover may need to be pressed together with those of the hob before the 4 nuts are fitted. At this point, it would be wise to do an earth continuity test before connecting the mains power cable. Turn all your control knobs to their maximum settings and set your meter on the dial to 200 ohm scale. Then touch one probe on the casing of the hob. Now touch the other probe on the neutral terminal in the junction box, and then each of the 2 live terminals. There should be no reading on your meter, but if there is, then you have a faulty circuit or a trapped wire. You may get away with using the old sealing strip from under the hot plate, but remember that one of the reasons it's there is to prevent liquid from getting under it. So if you're not sure about its condition, then replace it. Not every sealing strip will come off as easy as this one, but before you fit a new one, make sure you clean the facing edge on the worktop so it will stick. Now connect the mains to the hob and slot it in place. If you have the type with brackets underneath, you'll need to fit and tighten them before switching the power back on. On behalf of Selfix UK, we'd like to thank you for watching this video and hope you found it useful. Goodbye.